Hey, what's up, guys? Tim Rexius here, and this is how to start an LLC online using rocketlawyer.com. You know, we've created a lot of LLCs for our franchises for the Rexius nutrition stores, our business partners with Iron Heaven Gyms and VHI LLC, and we made one for our daughter for her 19th birthday, our oldest. It's just a process that's not terribly hard for us after doing it for so many years, and probably something I get the most amount of questions in off of our Now or Never podcast on YouTube and all the other forums, because people are nervous. You're nervous at clicking the wrong thing. You're nervous at, putting in the wrong information because it's government, it's forms, and there's that fear, and that's the not knowing. So I figured I'd make this quick video, not only for my guys, but everybody else who follows us who might have some questions. So real simple on my Google, I'm just going to go to rocketlawyer.com. No, I don't get any kickbacks from Rocket Lawyer. They guys probably should. So obviously I already have an account. It's pretty simple. If it saves all that stuff I'm doing. We'll start a business here. We're going to do an LLC. We're going to do it in Nebraska. That's where I'm at. Put in my name. And I'm going to give it a fake number because I don't need anyone sending me something crazy. Business address, put in the actual business address where you're going to be holding all the documentation. Now, you can, with your registered agent, which we'll get to that in a minute, that can be, wherever you're going to keep all the documents. The government needs to know where you're going to keep all the paperwork for everything for the business. So I usually keep them the same, but quite often my corporate address is the same for all my companies, and my physical locations for some of my gym facilities, my warehouses are different. So, but where you're actually operating the business, we're just going to do 123 Main Street for this purpose, Omaha, Nebraska. Throw in the old zip code and the county we're in. All right, so you can elect to do an LLC, an S-Corporation, a C Corporation, or a nonprofit. So on this myself personally, I've done LLCs, single owner, multi-member. I've done LLCs owned by LLCs that are partnerships, just depending on what your organization may require. S-Corporation is a little bit different. It's an S-Corp. Election status is a little bit different. A lot of things are going to be passed through K1 forms. You're going to be dividends and stockholders. C corporation. Listen, if you're making a C corporation, you're going to want to go through an attorney, in my opinion. I'm not saying it can't be done in here. Obviously, it can, but you're talking about something that's got a lot more regulation to it. And so, for this purpose, we're just talking about an LLC today. Now, people are like, can I incorporate in a different state than what I'm located and operating in? Yes, you can, because some states have corporate taxes, some don't. For instance, I used to have a business in South Dakota. They don't have state income tax, they don't have state corporation tax, but Nebraska, they do. Here's the thing. If you're operating solely in one state, and especially if you have a physical property like we do with retail stores, the state's going to want you to operate in that state, and they can make things a little bit uncomfortable for you. So just do it on the up and up. Just depends what you're doing. Now, our wholesale business, we may have physical properties in Nebraska. We're wholesaling in 25 to 30 other states. There's some avenues. Florida's a good state. South Dakota's a great state. Connecticut, there's a few different ones you can look up. Vermont, they have different advantageous positions. But for ease of purpose, I say if you're operating in a state, you're a small business, file in the state that you're in. So company name, we're going to do let's do Joe's Barbershop LLC. Now listen, if your LLC name can be anything. So let's say you're going to open a Rexius nutrition store in Des Moines. So Rexius Nutrition Des Moines would be your DBA, a doing business as. That's your front name, almost like a stage name for actors or musicians. Your LLC can be anything. It doesn't have to be the same. So some of my LLCs are just random names, named after our kids, or some saying that my wife and I have, and then we're doing business as Rexius Athletic Wear, or we're doing business as the Stapler Company, whatever it be. It doesn't really matter. So your LLC does not have to be depictive of what business you're going into. So let's say we're going to be doing haircuts, or barbering is usually the term, I believe. And so for this, it'll be health, I believe. It can be healthcare. It can be hospitality, retail. For this purpose, let's just do, we'll do travel and hospitality. It can be. Or will the primary contact be an owner of the LLC? Yeah, it depends. Usually on this particular, you can have somebody else be your contact. I don't know why you would, but some people do. Now, if you have multiple members of the LLC, you can identify them here. Like, so it'd be, say you and a buddy are starting a barbering business. You're going to put their information here as well. So here's the thing. You can do a fast, give me the rush filing, get it in 3 business days, guaranteed $168.15. So basically an extra $60 bucks. Most states, it's not that bad anymore, especially with internet processing. 10 years ago, when a lot of states weren't using the web yet to process a lot of these forms, it might have been worth it if you were in a hurry. But it even says right there on the screen, the 3 business days. Otherwise, Nebraska's average is 3 business days. So depending on the state you're in, how large it is, if you're densely populated, New York, New Jersey, California, Texas, especially like Dallas and that area, it might be worth it if you're in a rush. But we're going to click the no. Here's the one that I get questions a lot. So obtain my tax ID. So what's a tax ID? The FEIN number. So your federal identification number, your employer identification number is like the social security number for a business. That's what you are going to fill out with your bank account information. That's what you're going to apply for loans and liens and credit accounts with. That's what identifies and gives you your business its own credit score. So you can have them do it for $59.99 if you want to. If you're just a single person or 2 partners, 3 partners, whatever, buying an LLC, you can have them do it. It's really easy to do it for yourself, and it's really easy to do it for free. Now, let's say you're an LLC, okay, and you're starting Joe's Barbershop, and each one of you guys already have your own LLC. So your new LLC is going to be owned by 2 other LLCs. Well, then they can't obtain it for you anyways. You have to do that, so save the $60. For this purpose, you can go on the IRS website. I believe it's an SS4 form on the irs.gov, and you can fill this out for free. There's no reason to pay them. If you're really worried about it, by all means, just have them do it. But it's not hard. So add a personalized corporate kit and seal. Now, not saying anything against these guys at Rocket Lawyer. A lot of people do this. My very first company, you bet your butt, I bought the seal and the stamps and the shares, and it was so cool and completely and utterly worthless. So, later if I get that big, I'll do that. But for me, I'll save the $100. Now, making Rocket Lawyer my registered agent. Now, this would be the person that is part of the legal service process. So if the state has to get in contact with you, if for whatever, it's a highly legal issue, anyone needs to get in contact with you with tax deadlines, legal deadlines, they contact this person. This, in my opinion, is a complete waste of money. So, I would, if you're in a business that's going to be need a registered agent that often, that's going to be your own attorney, I would say, that's going to be here, and you should be having this process done with them. But you should be your own registered agent. I've never actually had a single business of the 50 that we've set up for us or our franchisees or our business partners that's ever needed someone else to be the registered agent. So in this case, it'd be me. So we'll go ahead and do that and put that information in. Your registered type, you can be a company representing a company or an individual. Here, I'm an individual. So you can see it, Joe's Barbershop. Company purpose is barbering. Industry is travel and hospitality. Just for the ones they gave me, your contact information, your business address, your registered agent is me. We click over and boom, ready to process. Now, you can become a member of the monthly payment program with Rocket Lawyer for $39.99 a month. Now, what good is this? All right, well, it's real simple. Okay, so if you're going to be filing a lot of forms that need signatures, operating agreements, contracts for, like, say you're in construction or a service industry where there's continuously monthly contracts, which is awesome, and your existing software for that business doesn't offer this service, this isn't bad. This is legally binding. They'll actually send it out via email, and I'll show you that here in a second, and keep track of who's signing it, much like DocuSign or Adobe Sign does, and it's pretty handy. You'll also be able to get as many your basic forms done as you want for free. So like an operating agreement, which you're going to need to make that this doesn't include for your business bank account, which I'll talk to in a second. Sure. For me, most of the time, I just pay as I go when I need something. If I need an operating agreement, I'll just sign I'll make one on here. It's pretty easy. So at the end of the day, I don't get my little discount. So it's about $218.14. Pretty simple. As soon as you get your articles of incorporation from the state in 3 days, which usually they'll get through here on email. You might get a mail copy as well, but usually it's on your account on Rocket Lawyer, so make sure you set up an account. You'll get that information. Then you can file your federal tax ID number. That only takes a couple days. And then all you'll need left is an operating agreement, and you can go open that business bank account. So pretty simple. Nothing too crazy. So the great thing about Rocket Lawyer, like I said, they should probably give me some sort of kickback for this, is they keep track of everything here online, of everything I've ever done. So if I ever need to get documents. I need to pull out that stock purchase agreement, my contract termination notice, whatever. You can notice like here, there's a contract amendment we did, or here we go, LLC operating agreement, which we had, a couple of business partners on. Or this one right here, I had 4. I'm able to send it out to all 4 people. They're owners of that company, and they can sign the operating agreement so we can get a bank account. Now, what good is the operating agreement? You're going to need this stuff. It's part of the LLC process anyway, so we'll talk about it. This is going to govern what happens if somebody needs to get bought out, if someone who does or does not have access to bank accounts and cash transactions. Do they have 6 months, 180 days, or 360 days to buy out? At what value will they buy it out? This doesn't seem like a big deal if 2 of your friends are going into a business or something like that, but economy like now, there are a lot of businesses going bankrupt. Those rules are what the bank needs to know, and that you have to govern your relationship if all of a sudden you're still in business, but the friendship hits a snag. So it's definitely something worth having. They have a very easy, drag and drop kind of system here on Rocket Lawyer that I like. And so usually if you pay, I think it's anywhere from $25 to $40 to have an operating agreement on here, but then it's yours for life. So let's say if I go to one of my operating agreements here, I think my wife and I did for one of our LLCs 2030 run. It just basically shows the formation, the state of formation, the rules that are in play, our signatures. It's completely legal, and it shows all the rules of the dissolution of the company, settling disputes, insurance, independent counsels, and all of that. So we're gonna go and click back here, and I'll show you one more thing. So if you need to come back and grab your, let's do my company I made for my daughter here. Here you go. So as you can see, setting up an LLC online is not terribly hard. That's why I wanted to walk through the process and show you guys you can do it yourself. Now, if you want to go to an attorney, hey, great. I'm not giving you legal advice here. I'm not an attorney. I'm not qualified to do so. I'm just saying if you want to pay an attorney $1,200, go ahead. If you want to do it yourself and you have questions, you just saw me do it. If you have any more questions or want to see any more how-to videos, message us either on YouTube or get me at Timothy D. Rexius on Instagram or Timothy D. Rexius on Facebook, LinkedIn, and now whatever YouTube podcast. Just drop us a message and we'll do a video. Thanks, guys.